Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. It's been a long weekend. It's been a long weekend. I did a lot. I'm exhausted, but we are back. You are back. Hopefully you had a good one. I had a good one. We are sitting here at the same price. I actually woke up and said, man, Bitcoin's at the same price as last week. And then someone in our Discord corrected me and they're like, what do you mean we're up 10%? I was like, wait a minute. And then I went back and looked and I realized, yes, we are up 10%, but we have been again at this range for another 6 days, 7 days. Looking back, it kind of feels like over a week ago, April 22nd, we pumped and closed above 93.3, 93.5. This was the critical level we were looking for. This level extends out into so many large time frames that are very, very important to this chart. The biggest, obviously most important, that yearly candle, still green, baby. Back to green after months of red. Here we are again above 93.5. 2025 officially a green bullish year again, and we're holding on to it for 6-7 days now. The quarter also very interested in this level. That was the previous quarter open. Of course it was, because it was the yearly open, but the quarter Q2 now bullish engulfing after trading to a lower low versus Q1. Phenomenal. Staying at this level or above this level, I cannot stress enough how bullish that is, how good that is. It's excellent. Very, very excellent. Going down to the months, we have the year, the quarter, the month also sitting here looking gorgeous again after, I mean, almost everyone was talking about bear market. Was talking about the run being over. And here we are now just in great position. It's crazy how quickly these things can change. And I know now nothing has happened in a few days, but don't let that get under your skin. This move kind of appeared out of nowhere, was strong, giggity, and just blasted our expectations. And that could happen again, even before May. Could happen in May, could happen before May. This market is extremely volatile and it can change on a dime. And so don't get comfortable. Don't get complacent in, it's going down, it's going to keep going down, or it's up, it's going to keep going up. This thing is very unpredictable. We try our best to predict it, but it does not like to be predictable, I think. On the month, though, this is where things get a little interesting. Well, I think we do have higher highs coming this year. I think we have all-time highs coming by the end of the year. I don't think this cycle is done. I think the bears will again get crapped on, and again, we'll see higher highs here. While I believe that to be true, the timing is going to be difficult. I've been saying Q4 of this year is likely going to have the highest point in price before we enter that bear cycle again into 2026. This whole 4-year cycle, though, has kind of had its own rhythm and its own vibe to it. And to say for sure it's going to be Q4, I think is ego, is hubris. It really could. It could be hell. It could be in Q2. Could we see the blow off top? Really any time this year. And on the way to that high, we have to pay attention to these levels. And this is why Jason Casper followed on a different platform. I don't know. What's up, Jason Casper? Hopefully that's you, not a bot, not another fake account somewhere. I don't even know what platform that is, actually, that just popped up. But I appreciate you. That reminds me, if you guys are out there and you haven't hit the like button, subscribed, hit those placebo buttons, please. They do something. The more you engage with the live stream, which means liking, subscribing, sharing, hitting those little buttons, voting in polls, whatever, the more YouTube shows this to a bigger audience, and that's how we grow. And you guys are really the reason that this stream keeps going. Your energy, your vibes, your goodness is paid back to us in kind. So hopefully that was Jason Casper. We'll find out. Probably maybe I'll ask him. What I was getting at here, though, is at some point I'm looking for an all-time high or another leg up in this cycle before we end it. We don't know when it will happen. I'm trying to reorient here. Could happen at really any point. We could be on the cusp of it right now. We could see this into May. But what we need to do on the way up, on the climb to those levels, is we need to examine this chart. We need to find points, pivot points, critical supports and resistances on the chart, different views and perspectives of how this chart could play out, and we need to pay attention to them. Not all of them are going to be correct. In fact, most of them will be wrong. But that doesn't mean we should just blindly dismiss the chart and kind of put our head in the sand. Where we are right now is, in my opinion, the only important price really on this chart if we are looking for new all-time highs, if we're looking for the bull market to continue, right here. I've been saying this for what feels like ever. That has been the challenge of this year. I feel like I've just been repeating myself. Every time we make a move, it's like make a move, and then the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'm just saying the same things, and then all of a sudden a move comes and I'm saying the same things again for 4 or 5 weeks. Right here, 93.3 to like 93.5 area. I love that we have held this price point. I love that we have held this on the day. We didn't reject and sell off immediately like was definitely possible. But kind of the time frames I just went through are examples or evidences as to why this is so important. Holding this level gives us the green yearly candle. It gives us a bullish engulf on the quarter after a pretty bad Q1 of this year, which was unexpected. On our monthly, this is pretty much the only relevant resistance here on the month. We painted this bullish order block back at the end of last year before going higher. We sold off. Last month, we tested it as resistance. We went short on this channel here. We traded lower this month, and now here we are, higher highs above this. We are looking for a close. Holding this is really all that matters. We can identify above us at about 102, this highest monthly close resistance, right? But I don't think that this will give us trouble if we can clear 93.5 with strength. If we move directly up from here, no pullback, 102 may provide some resistance where we move back to this yearly open, kind of flirt with that danger again before moving higher. But honestly, if we can just take right here and hold it, I think that pretty much all the trails, all the pathways lead to higher numbers. Price is pretty much in agreement with me, I think. We have broken out of our descending channel. We are at, you can see these white lines here. This is the 0.618, the golden Fibonacci retracement from our all-time high to our swing low here. We have traded above 93.5. Wow, my allergies just got bad. And we are holding it. Price is holding on. You can see, honestly, a lot of this price action earlier since January, bulls have struggled to hold levels. We've struggled to find enough bids to keep price up, and that has resulted in collapsing, lower prices, and exploration to the downside. This is really the first strong looking price action I think we have seen since the year started. In reality, we have had mostly lower lows and lower highs, downtrending, sentiment reaching peak lows. Finally, after this macro daily death cross that we anticipated, pretty much called the price action for, people really hit capitulation on sentiment there, rocketing up, reaching back to March's high, and now closing candles above this support resistance rejection. This is a strong climb. We can see our 50 daily curling up quickly, looking looking to cross bullishly again with the 200-day, and that's going to be its own unique signal here. I think when that happens, that probably about mid-May, if price action remains there, probably about mid-May. Something interesting to note, we should probably start talking about this, is similar to the death cross. We talked about as it approached, what to expect, what would happen, or what has happened in the last few years. Long story short, this has happened each year in the bull run. Each year it has marked the bottom. So far, knock on wood, ew, little breakfast. It has marked the low. This happened last year, the year before. And so what do these golden crosses bring? You would assume, well, if death crosses have marked the bottom, then these golden crosses will likely mark the top, right? That's smart. That makes sense. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I think, as I've said in the past, these are dependent on the trend. In a bull run, it seems that the death crosses are ignored and the golden crosses kick us off to new highs. Going back to October of 24, we got our golden cross here after our death cross in August, and we kicked it off to new all-time highs. This did not have that inverted signal that people were looking for. And the year before that, back in 23, I remember this happening. God, who was it? Big Cheds or someone on Twitter was was so upset with me for some reason for pointing this out. And he's golden cross. He's like, the death cross marked the bottom. The golden cross is marks the top. You should short. And I was like, whatever you say, buddy. We got the golden cross 2 years ago in October, and that literally kicked off the straight up rally into the next year. So kind of what we can take from this is now the master class on these crosses for Bitcoin is, depending on the trend, we look for them to play out differently. When the market is bullish, the death crosses seem to mark lows. And when the market is bullish, the golden crosses seem to kick off rallies, which probably you can go back and get some history for, and it won't match up quite as pretty as it does right here. But hell, it's doing good. This is coming into May, maybe like mid-May to late May, but that's coming. We haven't gotten our retracement, which is pretty much what we were looking for long before this move was made, to 93.5. Looking for a pullback to the 86 area, 86, 88, something like that. I feel like lots of capital is waiting for that move still. It has not come. I don't think it's off the table. I wouldn't go that far. But, man, I hope it doesn't come. I hope we just go up. I hope we retest these highs, and maybe we pull back to 93.5 as that back test. Where do we got to go from here? Where do we go from here, fam? I see you guys typing. Let's do this. CME opened a new week here. Let's see. Do we have gaps? We have a little bit of gap. No gaps above us on this Chicago Mercantile Exchange, but a little bit. It looks like a little bit of gap below. This actually was from last week, and we missed it. Not a big deal. 92,000, 92.5, something like that below us. Not a lot going on this chart until you get down into the 60, 50, 60, or 50, 40, 30s. It's just not very gappy, which is weird. Most of the time, CME has been very gappy, like Swiss cheese. Now filled in, smooth, buttery, maybe like brie. The CME did not complete its death cross, nor did it complete a death cross at all during this rally, during this bull market since 2023. We have seen the 50 daily come very close, near miss, before rallying higher. And again, that kind of looks like what's going to happen here. Let me add these back on. Let me move this back here. Looks like, again, that's what's going to happen here. We're looking for a higher high versus March, and then to pull back to this 50 and 200. Is that guaranteed to happen? Of course not. This was made long before we thought that we were actually going to avoid this death cross for sure. This is just very probable price action, as we have seen each one of these crosses basically give us 3 tests to this 200 daily moving average. We saw it back here in 23, into 24, and again, we're saying maybe that's we'll see again in 25. Who knows? But it looks like CME is saying we are directly on course for what we have seen the last few years. I'm digging it. Small gap opened last week. I don't really. This isn't like super alpha at this point. What is it, like a few percent, 2% to the downside, and it's a $500 gap. Really small as far as gap goes, close to price. If we see an intra-week sell-off that doesn't have a lot of follow-through, maybe 92K is the place to be looking. Not a big pool. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a nice little top-down analysis for the corn. Money flow up, momentum kind of topping out here locally on the day. VWAP down. I would say overall, this chart might be looking for some kind of pullback. Yeah, some kind of pullback. I like the levels we've outlined. There's really actually not a lot left to go over there. But there is a chart we have to look at. It's interesting. I've been finding myself saying I've told you so, and I really am not a fan of saying I told you so. I think it's lazy, but it certainly is engagement baiting. But let me really quick cover this, because this is something that is happening and something that we have been waiting for, I'd say. One of my favorite charts in this space, Monero, XMR, very old school privacy coin. Monero, there's a narrative behind it too. You guys love those narratives. Monero made a little move today. We've been waiting for it. We said this is one of the strongest charts in crypto. This is like right up there with Litecoin for me. They're really very similar things. Monero's just private. Monero up 10% today. However, Monero traded from 235 all the way to 360 for a 50% gain today. Now, this isn't out of nowhere, okay? There was apparently a very large hack of a wallet. This is what's being suspected. This is what 𝐂𝐶XBT said. This is what he thinks happened. A theft of, I don't know how many millions of dollars of Bitcoin, and that apparently the attacker was laundering or trying to launder through Monero. And so by making these big purchases into Monero, the price was pushed all the way up to $360. A crazy, crazy move. But here is the thing. You guys know narratives, just not my jam. I really don't think that narratives, like even something like this sounds crazy though, right? It seems like charts drive these narratives. And so did the chart make this person steal this Bitcoin and trade it into Monero? No, of course not. But it's weird. This chart has been primed to launch for a very long time. In my opinion, we've been looking at it for months and saying this is just, it looks like it's going to break out any second. All of a sudden we get this hack, we get this attacker transferring into Monero, and we get a crazy move on it. And the chart somehow plays out, and somehow, in ways I would argue, kind of knew it was coming. It didn't know that there was a hack, but it knew that there would be some kind of pressure or something. This is kind of the magic of charts, where you have to maybe separate logic from, I don't know. I don't even know how you separate it. There's just something about them. Charts tend to front run news in many different capacities. And this, Professor Beans, okay. All right, I'm moving your bed, Professor Beans. You're not getting back under my feet. You keep going in and out. Okay. Had to kick her bed out. Where was I? Monero magic charts. Where was it? There we go. Up to 360, charts looking strong. Charts they just seem to know. I don't know. Have you guys, put it this way, chat, have you guys ever seen something like this where, and if you've been watching our channel for years, of course you have, but just putting this out there in the universe, have you ever seen a chart that was completely primed? The chart was set up beautiful. You're looking at it, you're like, this is so strong. Or maybe even the other direction, this is so weak. But this chart is so definitively looking for this direction of move. And then, with no way of knowing that this was coming in the future, some kind of news comes out that fits that narrative, that fits the direction of the chart. Have you seen that happen? I know a lot of you have. I know many of you, many of you have seen this happen on this channel. Many of you probably in your own studies and analysis have seen this happen. And what is the explanation? I don't know. I don't know. Charts are a little magical. Numbers, I don't know. Maybe when you take data from real life, it reflects things that maybe can't be seen directly with our eyes in that data. Oh, I don't know. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But let's take a look at this chart, because I haven't. I just looked this morning at how much it was up and said, let's go. Let's go. Awesome. I didn't have time to do the analysis here. This is one that, man, I was buying all the way back here when it was delisted last year in February on Binance at $100. Now cruising at $260. Wow, actually that's a pretty good game. 160% gain since February of last year. That's actually pretty good for this space at the moment. Now this top wick, probably to be expected. I bet volume is up crazy. Volume up crazy? Or just no, not gonna show. Can't show the volume for this? Okay. Sure. I don't know why I won't show the volume. Volume is likely up crazy. This top wick is, I would say, to be expected here. So this rally pushed us through resistance. And if you take a look at the bigger chart, you would say, okay, I guess this makes a lot of sense that we would see selling pressure, right? Monero has not traded to this level since 2021 in May, basically. Since the last peak bull run, we have not seen prices up here. During that time, I think there was likely a lot of capitulation. However, this was not really a coin that was ever in the hype, ever in the spotlight, ever in the, I don't know, like retail was like looking at it getting in, like XRP or something. Like this was more of an OG coin, more of something that people have been in this space, I'd say, since like 2017 or before, probably holding. I don't think there'd be quite as many kind of like FOMO buy and sells into here, but you have almost 4 years past. You see this price, you're going to have a lot of limit sell orders fill. You're going to have a lot of people jumping in to take profit that have been trapped in this position for a long time. Miners, XMR is proof of work. Miners looking to sell their bags, kind of get profitability after a long time. This is to be expected. However, we should be looking for something. What we don't want to see is this move fully retrace. If Monero goes all the way back to where it started, and this extends outside Monero, like when we see other coins and things like this happen in the space, which we will, remember these lessons, is we don't want to see it return to where it started. If it returns to where it started from this event, basically I'm going to view that as negative or bearish pressure kind of for the mid, even into the long term. This coin couldn't kind of like pop. It couldn't, you know, those toys that you would, they were like little half spheres and you'd turn them inside out and then they pop, right? If this goes all the way back to where it started, it's like that toy and you flipped it, but then it just doesn't jump, right? It just stays there and it doesn't pop, doesn't make that jump. It's lost its elasticity. It's lost some of its energy or something. Or it's, you know, there's something broken kind of about it. If it can hold on to some of these gains, that whole event may push this chart to a more bullish trajectory than it was on, even though I think it was on a pretty darn bullish one. So let's kind of try to find maybe a definitive number for that so we can place it here and keep an eye on it, and it can be a nice little study over the next few weeks. Maybe this weekly, I like this because the weekly, the timing of this, like, isn't this crazy too? It's Monday. So it's Monday and this happened in this weekly candle, which means that this hacker, this whatever, like all this has happened in the last 16 hours, 16, right? 17 hours. They waited until it was Monday. I don't know. It's just weird, right? It's just weird. But let's take this weekly level and say, if Monero returns down below 236, probably a bad take. Maybe this whole event will have been net negative for it. If it does not, if it holds some of these gains today and into the week, maybe even closes a little higher, up at 272. Hell, of course, up at the wick would be amazing. Likely, this whole event will have pushed this chart more bullishly. And I would say you got to start looking for higher numbers here. Got to look for these higher targets. Beautiful. Momentum blast, and I don't know. I don't think this is going to retrace. I mean, it already has. I don't think it's going to retrace as in all the way back to its beginning. From that wick, where are you down? 27%, 28%. Nice. That's actually pretty ugly. Let's pull up CoinGecko. I'm going to get to the chat here. I know, guys. I'm in the zone here. Give me a tick. Monero. Let's see, because I know this isn't even like traded anywhere anymore. Ooh, Kraken. I always forget that Kraken has this. I always forget because it doesn't really make sense to me. Binance delisted it over concerns about regulatory stuff. Coinbase never had it listed because of concerns of regulatory stuff. Yeah, Kraken holding on to some of the highest volume here. Certainly the highest volume I would trust. HTX is KuCoin, Bitfinex. You can see there's not a lot of top tier options. There really is not. XE weeks. Yeah, not a lot of top tier options here. So this volume, man, where's it coming from? They're saying like this, the hacker swapped it. So where are they swapping it from? This is something interesting. So people were kind of coming after my comments on Twitter. I was like, yeah, told you so, Monero, which is the response you expect when you tell people you told them so on the internet. You expect sass. They were like, it's because of the hacker. And like, yeah, cool. Yes. So if the hacker moved all this money, where's the volume? Where did they move it? 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐿, that's where I'd assume this is probably the lowest, lowest security. I don't know, maybe the ℕ𝐵𝐵t, which I've never heard of. CoinEx, I've never heard of some of these really. Maybe they have low security, low KYC, AML stuff, but like all of these volumes added up. It doesn't have it. And I see you Hitendo atomic swap, right? Why isn't that showing up here? You would expect a swap, because this isn't just centralized exchanges. You would expect a swap to pop up here with crazy volume. You know what? In fact, let me look. I don't even doubt that it's possible that it does show up somewhere. I don't doubt that it shows up somewhere. It's just odd that CoinGecko wouldn't have it there. Because atomic swap, I'm pretty sure, is still very much like recorded volume, right? I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to like do more research into this. I want to find the volume. Where's the volume at? CoinGecko does not just have centralized exchanges, so I would expect it to pop up here. In fact, a lot of coins don't have any centralized exchanges, and so you'll see only decentralized exchange markets when you click on these things for some coins. That is interesting. How do you feel about Monero today? 90% bullish, 10% bearish. Huh? 24-hour volume, 300 million? I don't know. That doesn't seem like it. Hyperliquid? Okay, let's look at Hyperliquid. Let's see. I don't know. Hyperliquid XMR volume? Hyperliquid price. Monero to Hyperliquid simple exchange? I wonder if we can figure this out together. I might not. I don't think I can figure this out while live. That would be an interesting. That'd be interesting. So I'm not even doubting, obviously, that this was swapped. I'm not doubting that that candle is a result of that swap, because I bet if we zoom in, it was very quickly. Actually, it wasn't as quick as I would assume. Not quite as quick as I assume. Actually, much slower than I would assume. It wasn't done all at once. This was by someone who at least somewhat knew what they were doing. But where's the volume? You know what I mean? Where is it? We should be able to find it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. We will. We will. The Monero the volume on Monero is huge today. Yes, of course. It is. Literally, it's what we're talking about. The volume is huge. However, it doesn't quite fit the story. CoinGecko is reporting $328 million 24-hour volume, which for Monero is a ton, but isn't that much overall. But that's less than the reported hack, right? Or even if it's not less, it's like, it's less if you like the reported hack plus its normal volume, because its normal volume isn't zero. Its normal volume is probably still in the 8 figures a day, right? Something. Don't be shilling poo coins. That's right. Oh no, those aren't even poo coins. Those are scam coins. Another little learning lesson here. The bots are here. Yes, guys, here's a wonderful learning lesson. Talking about hacks. Talking about Monero. But here's a learning lesson. Bring it in. Listen. If you take one thing away from this today, take this away. You don't have to like my analysis or what I say, but this is something everyone should take some value from. Right here. This is not a real person. This is no, it's what I was looking at. This is not a real person. In fact, none of these are real people. None of these people spamming the sticker are people. These are just bots. They are very cheap and easy to deploy. It probably costs whoever's doing this pennies a day to, like, I don't know how many spam accounts to do this all, like, everywhere on YouTube. You'll see them in the comments. You've recently started seeing them in the live chat, so that must be like a new service that's being offered on the internet on these sites that do this botted service stuff. Anytime you see just an unreasonable amount of people just randomly talking about something you've never heard of in crypto, especially if it starts with XAI. It starts with XAI, just walk away. But anytime you see kind of like a wave of this, it is always a scam. It is always a rug. It is trying to get you to perceive attention and to perceive interest in something where there is no interest and there is no value, basically. And you can basically prove this reverse style by saying if it had value, if there was a reason that you would get this, you wouldn't be doing this behavior. That's always been my stance. Could you go buy bots and bot for like something that is legit, right? You could, but it just doesn't seem to really happen. 99.9% of the time, it is a scam. 𝐂𝐴I84Z is a scam, just as all the others that have been on this channel have been scams. I'm going to add this to the filtered word list so when they go to spam it, it just like gets held by YouTube. Hold up here quick. But be vigilant, because you'll say, I'm not stupid. I'd never fall for that. Guess what? Yes, you will. You will, and it might not be this one, and it might not be the next one, and it might be something a little different. But in crypto, whenever something feels off, something's off. Anything that is too good to be true is too good to be true. I know. I wish it wasn't. I wish that we could just find these magic little things. We found them early. We're all in, and we're bajillionaires now. But like, guys, it's like to say, but what if this one might not be? This one might be legit. Is like you get a DM from a hot girl on Twitter or Discord who asks you about your trading. Could it be a hot girl DMing you randomly, guy on the internet with like maybe no profile picture, no reason for them to have DM'd you? Sure, I guess they could be, but are they? No, it's a scam. This is the same thing. Stay away. Good learning lesson. Like I said, even if you hate what I do here, you're bullish, you're bearish, you don't like what I have to say or my trades, at least take the scam warnings seriously, because we've been doing this 6 years on YouTube. We've had a community here, and I cannot tell you how many people, even in our community, have been scammed in every different way. We've tried to warn them, but it's just not that easy. These scammers know what they're doing. They've been doing this a long time. They know how to get under your skin. They know how to say the things that you want to hear. And even, maybe let's level this up and I'll move on. I'll level it up by saying, whenever in crypto, you need to develop a sense. And I think just in the modern world now, you need this sense, but crypto kind of gave us an early thing of it. You need to develop a sense when you can feel when someone is saying the things that you want to hear. And when when that flag goes off in your head, you have to shut it down. It's a scam. Now, it goes against everything you want. You really want it to be true. That's why most of these scams work, is because you want it to be true. You want this to be free, easy money, but that just doesn't exist. And when you start to detect that any source is just saying what you want to hear, and this goes even for like influencers, people on YouTube, like they're saying just what you want to hear, run away, because they're saying it to take advantage of you or to take things from you. They aren't actually giving you this opportunity. Someone said, look at CoinMarketCap. 𝐂𝐴. So this is weird. Why is 𝐂𝐴? Why is 𝐂𝐴 saying 141 million, but then CoinGecko was saying no? That's odd. That's very odd. See, 𝐂𝐴 only has XMR. What? I'm so lost. Yeah. Huh. Trust score. It's down on the trust score. That's weird. Huh. CoinGecko doesn't trust 𝐂𝐴's reporting here. I have to do more research on this later. Anyway, moving on from the scams, guys. You got to stay safe. You can be the best trader in the world. You can lose it all to a scam. Doesn't matter if you lose it to a scam, right? Monero. I haven't looked at these lower time frames. It looks good. Maybe here's like a thing, and then I'll move on from Monero too. So it's like I was talking about how charts kind of just seem to know, in the future, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why, but here you go. You look at this chart and you say, all right, this huge wick, this happened from this hack, from Bitcoin into Monero, and then look at the 12-hour. So even though this hack, which the hackers aren't watching this chart, right? They're not looking at this chart and making choices based on it. Probably, I would guess. Maybe they should. 12-hour closes directly at resistance. Directly at resistance after trading way high, closes down at resistance. Somehow like respecting the chart, even though it's just not like a TA event, right? Weird. Schweird. Not weird. Just seems to happen. The more you watch it, the more you'll see it happen. 236 support, hoping it doesn't go that low. Might be an entry there if it does. All right. That was a long intro. I was rambling. I was ranting. yelling about scammers and stuff. Let's bring it back to the chat. Let's bring it back, boys. Laundered through 6 instant exchanges, it says. Where's the volume, though? That's the thing. If you were to like launder it, I guess laundering it across 6, meaning breaking it up, you know, and sending it to 6 different ones, you would only see the volume one time distributed across 6. If you did it from one to another to another to another, you would see 6 times the volume because you would be sending it, converting it, sending it, converting it. I don't see it though. Scammed on KuCoin. Arturo. I didn't want to like just shit on KuCoin because that's not what this is about. But when CoinGecko rated its trust of that volume low, I was gonna say something. Yeah, KuCoin is not a source that I super trust either. Not super trust. What happened to you, Arturo? Scammed on? How did they scam you? In what way? That girl asked to see your bags. All she said afterwards was short. KuCoin used to be good. Yeah, KuCoin was decent at one point. I have long stayed away from KuCoin though. KuCoin, I've just heard through the grapevines that I've never worked with KuCoin, by the way. Heard through the grapevines, heard different stuff of just maybe not solvent. I don't know. I don't recommend you trade there, but I'm curious what your experience was, Arturo. Never had any issues. That's the way to be, John. Nicholas, you really like FEMX. You got nervous in January when the hack happened. Yep. Yep, and I understand. FEMX, I still, of course, use FEMX. I still have their link in the video description below. They did have a hack in January. They took action. They covered it. No one lost any funds. That's about as good as you can do, right? I mean, nowhere is safe from hacks. That's the end of the day. Nowhere is safe from hacks. The difference is going to be, do they keep getting hacked? I think if you get hacked like more than once, even if it was FEMX, if they got hacked like again, a big hack, I'd be like, all right, guy, got to be done. Because clearly people are out. Someone's out to get you, or you guys just aren't keeping up with it. But they had one, they haven't had another one. Or if you lose funds, that's the big deal. But if no one loses funds, it isn't something that continues to happen. I think it's just part of the space. It's part of the game. The cat and mouse. Call it to not long ago. Users were safe. Users' funds were safe. Never great when they're just saying users' funds are safe. Typically something bad has happened. I'll give it to Bybit too. I worked with Bybit. They sponsored us in like 2021, years and years ago. To disclose, you know, my relationship with them. They had a giant hack, the Ethereum. Did anyone lose funds? Not to my knowledge. People were like, "Uh-oh, it's going to go down." And they covered it. They made it work, right? That's a sign of a strong exchange, of a good exchange. That's it. Because the hacks are going to keep coming. It's just like the bots. It's just like the scammers and bots. And they're probably all the same group. The scammers and the hackers are probably the same group. They're probably in North Korea. But it's an arms race. Like, you think that YouTube doesn't care or something, that YouTube like lets these scammers be on YouTube? They don't. YouTube is constantly banning them, constantly chasing them. It's just an arms race of YouTube will detect their bots. It'll wipe them all out. The botters and the hackers, they'll then know this because it's not working. They will figure out another way to go at this same thing. And they'll, again, make new bots, new algorithms or whatever to get past YouTube's detection. And then YouTube will detect them. It'll get rid of them. And it's this arms race. And it's just never going to end. It will never end. I don't think it'll ever end. Not in our lifetime. But the hackers, it's like the same way. Anytime they fix something, anytime they improve security, there's someone is incentivized to look for new angles of attack. And they find them because there's a lot of money involved. Same with the scammers. I really think they're probably the same people. You know, I'm curious. You guys, what's up, Queen? I see you, darling. I'm curious. What, in chat, we're on this topic. What exchanges have you guys had bad experiences with? Why don't you put it in, just say in the chat. You don't have to like give details if you don't want. I guess you could just say an exchange name, but it would be better if you could share at least like kind of what happened, like something. But what have you had bad experiences with? Because we can never really be like, oh, this exchange is great, because what does great mean? Great means that like you just haven't had any issues. That's just mids, right? Let me see. You'll take one. What's up, Philly Skills? And Pickle, by the way, I see you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I was a little in the zone earlier. I saw you messaging. Petro. AC, none. That's good. Ronaldo Unating. Interesting. You said Coinbase. Curious, Ronald Unating. What happened? Could you tell us? Because I've used Coinbase for almost 8 years, and I've never had a single issue. I've moved large amounts of money on and off their exchange. Never had an issue. I've heard Coinbase issues, but usually it's Coinbase wallet that people are complaining about online, and they're not smart enough to know there's a difference. Or the people were doing something shady. And when they're doing something shady, like, you know, it's a U.S. exchange, man. They don't get to make those rules. 𝐂𝐡, bad experience. Kevin, what happened with it? BlockFi, yeah. Dino Mike right there with you, man. BlockFi Celsius, thank you. Romanian Pitbull. Exactly. What do we got here? Clackers. Egg clackers, Queen. What are you? You still partying, Queen? I'm still partying. 𝐂𝐡, lost your funds. Only one in over 5 pickle. That's not good. Lack of accountability for breaking internet laws. Bit4, Kyle C, never heard of that. So that I believe you. That maybe you had a bad experience. Adriano, 𝐂𝐻 𝐬𝐲. Yeah, well, that'd be a bad one. That would be a bad one. Weren't they supposed to repay the creditors this year? I don't think it's ever going to happen. I feel like it's just actually never going to happen, because since I started in this space, I heard that the 𝐂𝐻 𝐬𝐲 repayments were coming back. Like, since day zero, it's like, oh, what happens when that? And they're all going to sell and Bitcoin's going to zero. And like, here we are almost 8 years later, and still just like, oh yeah, this year the creditors settled. I don't know. I just have this feeling it never will. Reger's Beard, �MEXC, freezing your funds. Yep. Did they give you a reason? Honestly, guys, I have had a �MEXC link before. I've never worked with them directly. I do not recommend using them. I recommend jumping off of �MEXC if you're using it actively. Check out FEMX if you use my link. It's in the video description below. You'll get into our VIP section in Discord. But more importantly than that, I can always help you if things happen. If you have an issue on FEMX, you can come to me. I'll make sure it gets settled. With �MEXC, I can't help you there. I've tried and they don't care. And I've seen people have bad experiences. I've seen people get liquidated when they shouldn't, and they didn't do anything about it. That's about as far as I'm going to go, because I don't like slander them. I'm just going to say the things I know for true that people have come to me with. I wouldn't mess around there. You single bell asking for a friend. Mark Dutch, shoot your shot, my friend. Shoot it. Bing X, Haven Pack. Really? What happened on Bing X? Can you tell me? Because I have worked with them, and I never had an issue. What happened? Tarek, Binance froze your funds for a year. Interesting. How long ago was that? I haven't been able to use Binance because they're like the only ones that really care about KYC that aren't US. Honestly, none other than the fact that Canada was banning a bunch. You've got your ways around it. Fiber Splice God. Nice. That's what I mean. It's like we can talk about the ones we've had bad experiences on, but you never really hear like good experiences, because a good experience just means nothing bad happened. Nothing out of the ordinary. So a good experience on exchange is just functioned as intended. Like, rarely is there going to be, like, I don't know, I was using FEMX and I won the lottery there and they gave me $1 million. Like, you know, that doesn't really happen. Like, the best case is that nothing happens and you just use it regularly. Nicholas Perry FTX, I never used it, never shilled it, never. I don't even think I ever had a link for it. You can go back in 2020, 2021, look at my videos, and I very commonly said FTX just came out of nowhere. It's very weird to me. I was like, you know, I don't have any reason to think anything bad of it, but it just doesn't sit right with me. It never did, and I guess there was a reason for that. FEMX, when they got hacked, so what app fell? Did you lose anything? They got hacked, yes, they did. But did what happened to you, other than that being stressful, which I can understand? I'm curious. Coinbase fees. Coinbase does have high fees. MJM fan, they do. 1% is pretty high. Use Coinbase Advanced. Do not use Coinbase Regular ever under any circumstance. Use Coinbase Advanced. Use limit orders and you'll pay less fees. Gemini's Crypto Steve-O. Huh. Gemini. They locked their users out of the Earn account. That was back when things were less, when exchanges were much more careful, I'd say. Bit4X. Lee, you're the second one that said Bit4X. I'd never heard of that. Disappeared overnight, then reappeared a year or two ago. Whoa. Bit4x. 2 people. I've never heard of it. Coinbase has always been great. Always been great to me. I'm not going to lie. Coin customer service cannot answer simple questions. Arturo, unfortunately, you will find that to be true of all the exchanges. None of them have customer service worth a shit. None of them at all. Video buffering now. Yeah. What the actual hell? Yeah, we're going to disconnect. We're going to disconnect. We had issues on Friday too. What's happening here? Yeah. That's very weird. Hold up. I'm going to turn off some other devices here quick. Let me see. I know that won't help though. You might be toast. I don't know if anybody can hear me. We are sending not nearly enough data to have a stream, but I'm going to give it a few minutes, see if this settles here. I don't know what's happening because this is 2 days in a row now. I'm going to run a speed test while we're live, which won't give me good results because I'm using the connection. But let's see if it's reporting issues the same way that YouTube is. Download speed's okay. Yeah, gig down. Okay, that's not what we need up. Yep, it is recovering. Maybe. Nope. Oh my. I'm gonna have some homework. Dude, now my upload speed also is fine. Even while we're live. What the? There's something else going on then. Bummer. Hella bummer. It's not good. No, we're audio and picture. Loud and clear. It's not though. Weird. You can hear me. That's good. I don't know what's happening. Actually be stable again. Now it's back to like 6,500 kbs. But what's happening? We had issues on Friday. Now we have issues again. We're good. Yeah, we're not good. Like, we might be good for this second, but we were good up until then too. What the fuck? I need security recommendations. Boo! That killed my vibe too. I need to upload some. I need to upload a diagnostic report. 1 sec. Hold up. I think we're back to stable, but like, dude, holy. We dropped, this is weird. We dropped exactly 10,000 frames before it recovered, but to the nose. Like, not 10,001, like 10,000. Look at this. That's very weird. That's super weird. 10,000 frames and exactly 5%. That's so strange. I guess we're stable again. For now. For now. Yeah, I'm opening a ticket here. Opening a ticket with my sport thing. Hold up. It's like, so I don't forget, but also because this is the second stream in a row. All right. Man, ruining my vibe. Thoughts on week. Yeah, one sec. Let me get back into it. Could have. All right, we are stable. YouTube is finally saying the connection's good. Is it back to dead? Okay, now anytime anyone says dead, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna believe you. Oh well, rip a bong, you'll be fine. That's right. All right. Did I update a drive-through? Did I update any of my graphics? Any of my drivers? No. Getting hacked? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know, man. Here's the problem. This is why I opened that ticket right away. Is on Friday we had that weird interlaced problem, which we've never had before. And then today, now we have this issue again. Or a different issue, but this is like out of nowhere again. What's happening? That's very odd. Okay. Change your ISP. I can't. Literally can't, because if I do, I won't get anywhere near the speeds that I have now. The wind, there is very strong wind. That could be it. Definitely, I run a cable. I don't do Wi-Fi. Buffering seems better. Man, my flow was like, I was in the zone talking about exchanges. Am I watching the bikini party on an iPad? I could, and it wouldn't be a problem. Wouldn't be a problem, dude. There's nothing I can really do with my connection that would cause this to happen. It has to be something else. Okay. Where was I? I was in such a zone, man. Talking about exchanges. Let me see if I can get back to where I was. Talking about bad experiences on exchanges. Romance scam and email breached. Oh, wait. Romance scam and your email breached. But that's not Coinbase's fault. You never use it again. It's not Coinbase. It's more of you giving out your email. Yeah, that's true, Ronald. Customer service isn't really helping. Oh, well. Flipping mad Mike. They lag you on Bitfunded. What is Bitfunded, MBF? Strike occasionally Coinbase. Okay. 𝐂𝐻 news is just fun at this point. True that, Sebastian. Robinhood stole from you twice? Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with Robinhood when it comes to crypto. I assume they're better. I assume they're better than they were. TradeLocker. I've never heard of TradeLocker. Robinhood deleted your entire crypto account for sending Bitcoin to Coinbase. Weird. That's not good. The longer the Mt. Gox creditors hold, the more they would make. At the end of the day, the Mt. Gox creditors are going to, even though they're going to be on paper boned, they're absolutely going to be better off. So few of the people who lost money on Mt. Gox would have held their Bitcoin till now. You have a friend that had their assets locked using MEXC. Yeah, don't use MEXC. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I use the links in my video description. Yes, they are affiliate links, but sign up for like FEMX. You won't get KYC'd if you use my link. I say this for twofold. One, I've worked with FEMX for like 5 years. I know the CEO. I trust them as far as I can trust an exchange. But on top of that, is if you have an issue at FEMX, I will message the CEO of FEMX and I will say, my community is having issues, and they will take care of it. To the best, you will be treated fairly. because I'll make sure you do. But I would not use Mexi. I've just seen a lot of issues with them lately. I get bad vibe from them. BTCE changed its name to WEX. 404 the site anyway, jeez. 𝐂𝐡 took all your coins and closed your account, Brendan. Very weird. That's not very weird. That's very scammy. That's awful, Brendan Keys. Reason, maybe not to trust 𝐂𝐡. That's kind of how we started this conversation, honestly. Yeah, that a lot of vagina. That's on you. You use the same passport for 2 accounts to KYC. Yeah. Have you tried the new 𝐒𝐈𝐆𝐍? And no, I have not. I'm very slow to try new exchanges, to trust new exchanges with like capital and stuff. You think a compressor's kicking in somewhere? Woo. I was just thinking maybe that could be related to what I'm having issues with. Issues with Kraken. Lagging a lot, buffering now, but we're smooth now. I'm catching up with the messages. I'm almost back to where we were. BingX closed your account if you're trading MOG from the United States. They shouldn't have impact. They should close your account. No exchange should close your account due to like KYC stuff. Now, when I say close your account, I mean cut you off from it and not let you like take your shit. No, that shouldn't happen. Please let me know if that's happened to any of you on any exchange. But they can close your account, meaning they can make you close your trades and not let you trade more. Ooh, there's a fly. Not let you trade more. That makes sense. But they shouldn't like close it and be like, haha, these are our assets. That's stealing. That shouldn't happen. Voyager did go under, yes. You lost audio. It crashed. Okay, I'm almost back to the beginning. I recommend self-custody and never store your wealth on a centralized exchange. Nate Bender, the man coming in with the based info. True that. True that, absolutely. Always keep what you're not trading on your own, in your own wallet, not on exchange. Only keep what you're trading on exchange. Femex customer service answered you in an hour or less. That was awesome. I wouldn't have expected that, but that's good to hear. Thoughts on Weeks? I don't have anything negative to say about Weeks. I have used them. I have a link for them. I don't have like a deal with them or sponsorship, but this fly is like cocky. He's landing on my forehead. I don't have anything bad to say. I haven't heard anything bad yet. So I would say Weeks for now seems fine. They're newer though. So, and I've met a lot of the guys from Weeks. I know a lot of their team, but they're newer. They're going to prove themselves over time. That's kind of like how these things go. Ew. Coinbase will crash in a few years. Is that true, Randy? Coinbase crashing is still not like Coinbase being nefarious. I've had this chat with you guys a lot. Coinbase never wants to crash. As much as people like to kind of tinfoil hat conspiracy it, Coinbase only loses money when they crash. They don't want to crash. Coinbase futures is amazing. Coinbase futures, yeah, Coinbase is adding a lot of like futures and options and stuff. Actually, I think Coinbase even to very recently, like as recently as like today years old, I believe Coinbase is now Coinbase Advanced. There it is. For the first time, there it is right here. Coinbase is now integrated with TradingView. You can trade directly on TradingView with your Coinbase account via API. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't just like do that because you can. Make sure you know what you're doing, what that means. But this is brand new. I talked to their team a decent amount. And Coinbase is really trying to they're really trying to bring back kind of the market share they lost by playing it safe. They've just played it very safe. They don't have to play it as safe anymore. The environment has changed, and so they are too. Wow. I guess I'm bleeding. Okay. So they are too, and they're adding a lot. Maybe worth it at some point here to go back there and check it out. We'll see. Best customer service you have is from XC. That's weird, Brandon. Never heard that from anyone. Okay, I'm gonna refresh. I'm just gonna refresh it. If I didn't get your message, you just gotta say it again. What's up, Believe? Will Bitcoin go to 110,000 again in next week? Wait, no, you're saying Will Bitcoin will go? So it's a question and a statement. 210K next week. You're holding for now. I don't know. Yo, Steve, my guy, Mr. Optical Art, 5X. What did you see? A Head and Shoulders on the 1 hour, Steve. Let's check it out. My man, Steve. Sure. I think breakdown is the statistically favored choice here after how many days of like holding at this range. I guess I might see it a little differently. With a really tight invalidation. With really tight. And again, you look at my TA and it's like I'm looking for a move down. But I might see it a little differently. I might see this being multiple tests of resistance, even breaks of resistance on like some time frames here with our lows coming up. I might view it as a flat top triangle. My invalidation though would be like right here, which is 1% away. You know what I mean? Right here at today's low. You break today's low and I think you're right on. I think you're looking at the Head and Shoulders. For now. How you doing, Steve? Dude, I've had a bunch of problems today. On Friday, we like completely disconnected on the stream. Then today, something happened again. I haven't had issues streaming in weeks, months, even a year. And now Friday and today I had them. You guys should go subscribe to Steve. Love this guy. Friend of mine. Been on YouTube as long as I have. A great shining example of how trading, there is no cookie cutter. There is no one way to trade. Everybody trades differently and finds success differently. And there is no just one way to do it. I preach that a lot. Tokenized stocks on BTCC. I would stay away from that, honestly. I would stay away from tokenized stocks. Like, that is more illegal for them to offer like literally like US securities. Like it is, like, those are securities. Right now we're kind of debating out the question as we've been watching the SEC and other things kind of through the courts decide what is security, what is commodity, etc. And it looks like most things are going to be going away from the security designation, at least for now. But US stocks are definitively securities. And to offer their trading, especially to offer their trading in like a tokenized version where you don't even have the stocks, is like very, very against US law. So just be careful. It's not that you would get in trouble. You don't need to worry. I'm not a lawyer. This is like what I know. This is my opinion. My understanding is you don't have to worry. You're not going to get arrested or something. But the exchange is taking on a lot of risk doing that. And it might reflect kind of maybe some of their other practices, right? If they're taking on this very risky practice that most things don't offer, maybe they're taking risks elsewhere in a way that won't benefit you. That's all I'm going to say. Just data. What's up, Dusty Hunter? How you doing, man? BitUnix, Cyphique, BitUnix, I have used for a little bit. Haven't had any issues. Haven't heard any issues. That's why I was asking you guys, what have you had bad experiences with? Because this is largely how I can come to understand these exchanges and the regular customer experience. Because you better believe I don't have the same experience with most of these exchanges as you guys. I mean, largely it's unspectacular. But if I have an issue, you better believe they fix it much faster than if regular Joe asks. I'll get a lot more attention and, you know, treat it a little differently. So I view it through your guys' stories and experiences. What's up, Sabrina? How you doing, darling? Tell Beans to get the fly. She's not a very good fly hunter because she's very short. Coinbase closes any account that I linked to your bank account. That's weird. I have never had an issue. If you're in the US and you have an issue with Coinbase, Kraken is probably what I use the most. A peek at deep? I don't know about that. I'm a real boy. I'm a real boy. I don't know. We've been live for a while. FMX doesn't make money off your losses liquidation. No exchanges should. Market makers could, but exchanges shouldn't. SBF self-promotion commercials are always cringe. I was on point from day one with FTX. Thank you, 2 Red Ducks. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. XRP trade that up. I think we're still in an XRP long. I don't know if I have like a brand new one for you, but we can take a look at it. Femix goated. That's how I feel. Crow sucks hot. What's up, Chris? Queen Bee says agree on off ramp, but same issue with the account verification. What? Queen Bee says. And now I can't make a bank account. What? Chris, what? Could you try again to like make that a little more easy to read in English? The account verification. What? You couldn't make a bank account. How to set up a new coin? Dude, that's am I going crazy, or does that sentence not make any sense? You have AV Creations terrible experience with MEXC. They froze your funds due to risk management. Here's like, let's kind of just piece together patchwork style all of your guys' responses. MEXC and 𝐂𝐴 are like the only two that I've heard more than once in this discussion with things that are like not good, right? Take that to your bank. Take that, I don't know. Take that into the consideration. You guys can always sign up for BYDFI, also in the video description below, our new partner. I work very closely with them. If anything happens, you can always come to me and I can go to bat for you. Haven't had any issues, haven't heard of any issues there. Forwarding people onto your channel, could that cause issues? No. Kelly, that once got forwarded over his show and caused connection issues. Paul O'Boyle, that's interesting. No, that shouldn't. But like, of course, there are levels of YouTube, most of the levels of YouTube that I can't see and wouldn't be able to know, but there shouldn't be. Jonathan says it's all because of that NVIDIA driver update. Maybe. Probably. You're good. Hopefully I'm too. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. There's bullshit internet though. I don't know, dude. I have to probably call my internet service provider, have someone come out. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with it. Not an exchange, but atomic wallet. You lost your LISC tokens on a collision. What's that? Collision attack. They delit. What? But LISC tokens. What? That seems weirdly. Like nothing atomic wallet does should make you would make you lose anything though. What? That doesn't make sense. Maybe you wouldn't be able to swap them there, right? But like they're just a wallet. They don't have access to your keys. They can't move your coins. They can't send or. Oh, Chris, you probably sound like you're a foreigner from India. No worries, brother. Your picture doesn't look like a guy from India, so at least from here. And so like I wouldn't have assumed. No offense. So please, dude, you didn't offend anybody. I would love to answer your question. You just maybe need to rephrase it, and I'll give it another try. What's up, Crispy? You went long on Mantra? Oh, God, bro. BG, no. Let's see. Can we look at AVAX and link only for you, Sebastian? Let me look at him briefly. We're not going to do a ton of requests, though. Just so you guys know, don't get your hopes up. You went long on Mantra? Oh, I would guess you're not down or up. It's relatively in the same spot. If I went long on Mantra, man, I would just close. I would just close anytime I was in profit. Hope you have take profits taken or set. Audio's cracking. Yeah, we've had some issues. We've had issues today. I don't know. Hold up. We've had a lot of issues with this tree today. Hopefully that's better. Find out. Well, bar trade got... Oh, did it get boned? No. No, it didn't get boned. Holy shit. I'm so used to opening these charts now and getting... Like, just opening them to, like, really pretty rough losses from, like, 2024's high. And everything came back down. AVAX actually hella good trade here. 23 to 50 close. Hell yeah. Now you've sunk lower. Your RSI is lower on the week. You don't have bull div. I do not love AVAX here. AVAX lost 23.72. This is now resistance that it's coming up to test. It already rejected there in March. Ooh, look at this RSI climbing up. Careful. Careful, careful. I think AVAX for me would be closer to a short than a long at 23.72. If it can take 23.72, it's looking a little bit better. I have a feeling, though, that even in that scenario, it's like this 618 here is probably going to line up right with like 32.80. Exactly with 32.80. Man, that's creepy. And so in the event that you do end up closing above 23.72, which I think is hard, I don't think it's going to be easy for it. I feel like you move to 32, and then now maybe you just reject for another lower low. I do not love this chart. I'm kind of bearish on this AVAX chart, actually. Do not love that. Evelyn Morgan, best strategies and signals subscribed. Weird. Who else subscribed? Blue Green, Kurt Shore, Boeing Gas, a name in a language I can't pronounce. Rennie. If you're out there and you haven't hit that like button or subscribed, now's your time. Now's your time. Mr. Crown, how you doing? I'm doing good, sweet Biddy McGee. How are you? Trader with low self-esteem. What's that? Most traders, I would guess. This guy joins the stream. Never been on our channel before and just said trader with low self-esteem. He's probably talking about himself. Passion brains, don't be hard on yourself. Things will get better, my friend. I know it's been a hard few months of trading, but things will get better. Good time to short Monero. Ooh, that's dang. You're playing with fire there. RPAD looking for some volatility to trade. Less cracked, or are you crazy? What is less cracked? What's up, Crypto Princess? How you doing, darling? Will Polygon recover? Dude, I think Polygon looks like shit. Test for packet loss. Is something happening? Oh no, Y2K, I will. Is it messed up again? We've had so many issues this stream at this point, I don't know. BTC USD lover, I saw you subscribe today. Let's go, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, what about Bitcoin pump or dump? Pump or dump, isn't that the question, my friend? Ah, man. We're looking at a test of 100K if we break up from here. Before we reached 93.5, this was the trajectory we were looking for. 93.5 back to 86, maybe 88. I think that probability probably leans towards the 88, 86 back test. I would say that regardless, I don't think that right here is a great place to take a position. We've made an expansive move to the upside. We've traded sideways for 5 or 6 days. Here's likely what's going to happen. Even if we go, whether we break to the upside or downside, I don't think it even really matters for what I'm about to say here is, so let's say it's going to go down. Okay. Here's likely what I think this is going to play like. If we're going to move to the downside, we likely get a break of our range to the upside after this long sideways period to then break to the downside, come back to essentially what was support and then reject, right? I think we see shorts get stopped out, longs get baited in, shorts get stopped out, and then resolve to the downside. But that could have, of course, just play out the exact other way. And I think it would look like this, where we get a fake break to the downside, kind of like this, and then a move to the upside. I think that regardless, kind of what I'm getting at is, I don't think that right here is a good place to take a position. I think if you're looking to go short, you're going to be kind of praying, looking for a lower high or a higher high locally, but some kind of just range breaking high that gets rejected. If you're looking for a long, I think you're doing the opposite. You're looking for a low range break that holds a higher low and continues to the upside. I think right here, right now is just like not a great place. We've been at this range for 5 days, 6 days. Lots of people have taken positions here. I don't think this market is going to resolve without punishing them, getting them out of their positions first. Powell going to cut rates in May? I don't know. I don't think so, honestly. Let's see. I need to clean up one of these. I mean, here's the thing. You look at 6 months, 6-month bonds, they're at 4%. Rates are at 4.3, whatever. They're one cut away. So the market is thinking there's going to be one cut in 6 months. So if they cut in May, I don't know, it's possible, but I don't think it really matters. It's already priced in. The single cut is already priced in. 2 years from now, we're really at 2 cuts for 2 years. This is likely going to change, I think. This is likely going to change over the next 2 years, obviously. But the bond markets are not looking at significant cuts. They're not hinting at significant cuts. They're hinting maybe one, maybe this year. I don't even know. You look at what Powell said. You look at the minutes from the last FOMC. It was very bearish. They were not very confident, nor were they bullish in any capacity on the new trade policy, on tariffs. And basically what Chair Powell said in his last speech was, we just have to kind of see how this plays out. We have to monitor them. We have to see where we are. And yeah, he always says that. He always says we have to see where we are and look at the data. But this time with like much more, I don't know, meaning, right? It's like, we genuinely don't know. As the Fed, we don't know. None of us have been alive really, even for anything like this. We don't know how this is going to play out. No, scratch that. None of them have ever been alive for anything like this. I don't think anyone has ever been alive for anything like this. Not just the tariffs, but also the global kind of wrench in the global machine here. That is the U.S. mixing it up. I think the answer is they literally have to wait and see. And here's the downside. Waiting and seeing means not cutting rates in the short run, right? FEMIX isn't available in the Google Play Store for Android. Weird, I didn't know that. Poly looks like shit. If Polygon ever fucking rallies again, if it ever like comes back, it'll be pretty epic. It'll be rather epic, I would say. Because it is very down. Could make a big move to the upside. Here's kind of where I'm at though. Look at Polygon. Look at Matic against Bitcoin. It is doing the Ethereum. It is doing the Litecoin. It is doing the typical coin after all-time high cycle thing. It's just losing value against Bitcoin, even if it's moving up in dollars. I wouldn't look for this to really, really bounce until this retests its all-time low, like against Bitcoin. Probably gets rejected from there, but like I don't know. I wouldn't even really look for it. I don't think it's outpacing anything until it does. This isn't bad. I mean, it's certainly better than what it's been doing. It's literally just sold off since December. It missed out, I feel like, on a lot of the rally. You fell down to lower support. You have a higher high. Cool. You're looking for a higher low to then make a move to 31. Hopefully. I think this is a bad bet. Maybe I'm wrong. Could see this. Right? Cannot in good conscience say that I like this chart. I just think it's such a knife, guys. There's no support on this until 5 cents. The bottom could be in. It could go to all-time highs next week or something, sure. But like, there's just very little reason to think it. Very, very little reason on the chart, I want to say. I'm sure you have some divergence on these lows. That's cool. Some other charts don't. On the day it does. Let me see about the week. You're not bull div on the week. That's, or maybe you do very slightly. I don't love this chart. That's up to you. If you are looking to make a play, I think that there's a play from like 18 cents to 31. I would like to get out at 31. You break 31, you're going to 50. Poly is just not a great looking chart to me. This has been a hell of a long stream. We had issues. Is Bitcoin a good stock? You know, baby. What's up, XBTC? RS Miller, good to see you, man. I'm a cow. You're gonna get a bird. It's been a long stream. We've had some issues. I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with my connection today. I love you guys for tuning in. You should jump in our Discord, discord.gg/TomCron. It's free. Great way to keep up with the community. Make sure you get notifications when we go live. You should check out, you should go to www.joincrowncrypto.com. Check out our new group. I give exclusive streams in there. I'm going to be aiming now for 2 or 3 times a week. I've been doing 2 times a week over the last few weeks. Small group stuff. You can come ask me questions in voice. Much more intimate, much more kind of one-on-one-ish than a lot of other stuff. A lot of other stuff. I'm so confident in this group that you can get a free week trial. Check it out. You don't like it, it costs you nothing. Just go to joincrowncrypto.com. If you decide to sign up, use promo code VIP. There's still a few of them left. You'll get 50% off forever. Check it out. Check it out. Hopefully Bitcoin makes a move here. I'm going to pop off. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I need to go yell at some people and figure out what's wrong with this connection. So I will catch you guys on Wednesday.